Howdy folks, this is a quick bonus video to show you how to add planets and stuff into Empyrion. So what we're going to do is we're going to first find the Steam folder, so it's going to be in program files. It may be a different thing on your computer, but I think generally on Windows it's in program files, Steam, Steam apps, common, and then you're going to find Empyrion. Okay, and in the Empyrion folder, wherever that is on your computer, there's going to be a content folder. So in there, the first thing you want to do is go into the sectors. And there's a sectors yaml file. And you want to back that up before you do anything, before you make changes to it. Back it up. So that's what I've got here, is I've got a modified copy and an original copy. So you want to open this up. It's a text file, so you want to open it up with a text editor of some sort. I really like Notepad++ myself. You're welcome to use whatever you want. In here is a list of the areas, the playfields. And it shows the coordinates. That's the larger coordinates of where all of these are relative to each other. So as you can see on this little mini map that you're looking at now, they are spread out and they're actually all on the same plane. So you want to keep whatever you're adding, you probably want to keep it on the same plane as well. And as you can see, I have a spot where I added my own. So you can use this graph to find a blank spot, because obviously you don't want to put one where another one already exists. So anyway, what you want to do is you want to copy one of these sections here and add in your own at the end. So you can create your coordinates. So for mine, I did these coordinates, and as you can see, they match on the map. And then the playfields, so you're going to have the orbit playfield, which is where you warp into, obviously, when you come in with your CV, that's where you're going to warp into. And then you can add in planets, and these are the sub-coordinates. Obviously, you can tell these are not the same sets as these coordinates. So these are the coordinates on the big map, and these are the coordinates within this playfield of the orbit that is going to be this thing here. So you can add in, as you can see up here, you can add in multiple planets within one playfield, within one orbit at least, because these are actually the playfields are the individual thingies. So the orbit is a playfield and so is the planet, but you get the idea. So anyway, that's what you're going to do there. And so you're going to choose coordinates. You can, if you're just adding one, you can just copy one from one of the existing planets. And so you want to put your coordinates there, and you also can add in moons, etc., etc. The other thing you can do is you can decide what type of asteroids you want to have. That's what this little thing here is. So you can have asteroids, you can have the few of them, you can have the one that's like on Omicron, you can have the ring like on Akua, etc., etc. And so that is how you do this file. Now the next thing you want to do in here is you're going to go back to content. Now that you've added, for example, Liftopia on here, you're going to go to playfields, and you're going to, let's see here. So you want to choose a playfield for your planet type. So you can go into the playfields here, and here are the settings. This is what the settings are for all the different types of playfields. I'm not sure if the temperate 2 actually works. There's not an existing temperate 2 type of planet in the game, so I don't know if they've completed it. If you want to test it out, I would suggest doing it, in an experimental. Obviously, you want to also back up your save games before you do this. If you break something, you want to be able to revert to where you started before you messed everything up. So be sure to make backups of your save game and any of these files that you happen to modify. What you can also do is you can copy the playfields file and the sectors file, the whole thing, out of there. You don't want to do all of these because there's a couple gigs, I think, of the textures and stuff too. But anyway, in these you can change the actual type. So here's the desert, and you can again make a backup, and you can go into the playfield yaml file and you can edit that as well. And there are a lot of interesting things in here. So you can change, I'm not sure if the difficulty actually only experience changes your experience points that you get from doing stuff, or if it actually, I haven't tested if it actually changes the number of basically hit points or damage or anything like that of the enemies. I don't think it does, but it may or may not. There's the atmosphere color, the sky color. You can change those. You can change the daylight and nightlight. If it's really dark at night, you can actually crank this up. I've had it all the way up to 5, and 5 looks pretty ridiculous, but you can actually crank this up over a value of 1. It says between 0 and 1, but you can make it a higher number. And so that will help you if you don't like the really ridiculously dark nighttime. And there's also a few other things that you can play around with here. They're explained in these. And the other thing, now these are the resources. These are useful information too, useful things to change. These are the ones, this big long list here, this is the ones for the, whatchamacallit, the creative game. So these aren't going to be in everything. So these are going to be fixed. So that's why every time you start a creative game, it always shows up in the same spot. These are the randomly generated resources that occur in survival games, and this is what you're interested in. You can set all kinds of stuff with this here. So this is the iron resource, and as you can see, you have a number of deposits that can be generated, a minimum and maximum. And then you also have a minimum and maximum size of each deposits. And then you have the depth of the deposit underneath the ground. So the lowest number is going to be they actually are visible from the surface. And then the last thing is the probability of drones appearing and the maximum number of drones. So if the probability is met, then you have however many. If you set it to 5, then you get 1 to 5 drones. So this is the way that you can change how many resources and what resources appear on which type of planet. Okay, so anyway, there's also a list of POIs. Sorry, this only has one, so we will check out a different one because I changed this one to make it show a bunch. So let's check out a different play field, and we can look at that. We'll do the temperate one, which is Akua. Now you can look at these files as well, because what you'll want to do is you'll want to look at these random POIs. These names here are the ones that you can add. Those files are actually taken from the prefabs folder. As you can see in here, there are asteroids, alien towers, drone bases, epsilon defense, and all this. Now these blueprint files actually have inside them have the name that you see here. The name that you see here is not this file name. It's an actual little data point inside this file that says this. So unfortunately you can't use this section right here to add your own POIs automatically, but what you can do is you can add these this way, like I did with this one. I just made it create 8 to 12 POIs on the whole planet. Didn't care what kind they were. And then in your save game, there is a prefabs or shared, there is a shared folder, and in that you can also find the area files, and those 4 area files are what define this base or ship or whatever. And so you can actually take your own base that you've built as a POI and replace the area files, and that creates it changes this into yours. So anyway, that's how you change your playfields and customize them and make different POIs and all that stuff, and you can also change which drone base is on there. So these files are actually pretty fun to play with. If you're going to, again, be sure to back up before you start screwing around with it, because depending on what you do, you may or may not break things, and you don't want to not be able to revert back to where you started. So make backups. But that's how you do it. So have fun with this, and we'll see you later.